Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, our praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Makakudash Brakatam. Double honor shall go to apostles, elders, and bishops, a great millstone who continue to teach and to rule well. Shalom to the Akims, a great millstone of like-minded camps and individuals who continue to teach as one body, who continue to be out on the highways and byways, risking their lives for the greater good. Shalom to sincere Aquats who continuously learning in silence as the Holy Scriptures have commanded for you to do so. And also shalom to the true believers and subscribers of this true gospel, for this should be considered a true blessing from the higher power. This is Azariah Gabar representing the King is Coming channel back at it with another lesson for edification purposes. Slack it. All right, so I'm pretty sure all you people should know by now that times are rough and times are tough. Okay? And the mass population of the people are going to go through extreme measures just to survive. All right? Desperate times call for desperate measures. So this video that you see on the screen is from, of course, the dude from Snyder Reports. And the title of his video is Americans are running out of options, selling blood to pay bills. That's how bad things are getting. Is that real? Is that deep? All right, so the name of this video lesson today, Aparatazah, is going to be titled Blood Money. Okay, blood money. And it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. You cannot pray your way out of this situation. Nope. It's not going to happen. All right? So I'm going to play this video in its entirety and then pull up some supporting precepts like I always do. But before I do so, fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act. For this video is strictly for education and edification purposes only. I'm not making a dime off of this video. All right? So, without further delay, let's rock.
Things have gotten so bad for millions of Americans, many are resorting to selling their plasma in order to pay for things like concert tickets, for rent, even for car payments. Look at this.
I sold my plasma as a side hustle to help pay down some debt, and you guys had a lot of questions about it, so let's answer some of those.
Yeah, people have a lot of questions right now as to, is this legal? Is this something that can actually put money into my pocket? And the answer is yes. Look at this right here. It says middle-class Americans are selling their plasma to make ends meet. Last year, people in the U.S. made an estimated $4.7 billion selling their plasma. It says donation centers are popping up in middle-class neighborhoods, including suburban strip malls and college towns. Yeah, these
What this guy forgot to mention is that a lot of these centers are mainly concentrated in the hoods, in Jake neighborhoods. And I'll prove that after this video. Let's continue.
plasma centers are popping up all over the place because they realize that they can actually do good. Again, plasma is important. But the people that donate now are starting to see the rewards, where some people are making up to $1,000. I had a friend that I had no clue this was even happening. And he said that he was able to pay for his car payment, which is about $1,300. He was able to pay that with 1 month of donating plasma. Look at this right here.
This is your sign to go donate plasma at BioLife and get $800 in your first month. It's super easy. The first time you go in, it does take a few hours to make sure you have time in your day for it. But you literally just go in, fill out a questionnaire, have a checkup with a nurse, and then they hook you up to a machine, and it takes like less than an hour for them to finish spinning your plasma out. And then they give you a debit card, and it immediately charges your card every time you donate.
If you live in an older home and need to heat or cool a single room without ductwork, here are 3 reasons why a ductless mini split system.
Interesting. So every time you go and donate, they give you this debit card, and every time the money goes right to that debit card. You can go and take it out, you can go and spend it, whatever you want to do with it. Well, here's what's interesting. She was saying that now's your time to go make $800. What would $800 do for you? Let me just ask you this. Because guess what? Donating plasma is not a one-time thing. You can just do it once if you want to, but you can also go in multiple times a month. You can actually go in, I believe, twice a week. Okay? You can go, I believe, twice a week. You have to wait at least 48 hours in between donations. But again, you can go multiple times. So let's say you go twice a week and you do this every single month. That's 8 times a month that you can do it. For some centers, just to give you an idea, like CSL Plasma, they will pay you up to $100 every single donation. Okay? It's interesting. It also varies by location, varies by your weight, because people that weigh more, that are a little bit bigger, they can also donate more. Again, very interesting. I want to play some for you. Listen to this right here.
America's newest side hustle isn't your usual gig, and it tells a prickly story about the U.S. economy. People selling blood just to get by.
It was out of necessity.
Like Ian Pleasant, who started donating at this center outside Philadelphia after being hit by a car and breaking his leg.
It was a lifesaver. It even paid my rent.
A lifesaver for him and the patients on the other end, with researchers saying...
You saw that, Jake? And he's more than happy to do it. All right? He's definitely in heaven in his own way because he's making that money from giving away something he's not supposed to really be giving away. Let's continue.
The U.S. provides around 70% of the world's plasma, that gooey substance that transports the essential cells and nutrients our body needs. Ian is one of an estimated 200,000 people that walk into plasma centers like this every day across the country to sell their blood plasma for money.
People will come in and use this money to supplement their income. For a lot of people, it's their lifeline to afford that little thing that's extra.
A booming market worth more than $30 billion now, pumping through the veins of American households. Collections up about 30% in the last 3 years. There are now more plasma centers than Costco's across the nation.
Wow. There are more plasma centers than Costco's across the nation. Let that sink in for a moment. Okay? This is interesting. Now, again, I said this earlier. I didn't know this was a thing. I knew people donated plasma. I didn't know the American people were going into these centers, multiple times a week in order to donate, but that donation is what is keeping them afloat. Okay? Again, like I said, a friend of mine was able to pay for his car payment because of his donations at a plasma center. I had no clue this was a thing. Until then I started reaching out and figuring out, yes, this is a thing. Somebody actually commented on a post on Reddit that they were able to pay for Super Bowl tickets by selling their plasma. Okay? Now, again, you're only getting so much money. Now, my guess is they weren't sitting front row, but again, they were still able to go to the Super Bowl as a result of selling their plasma. So, again, very interesting. I want to play another clip for you. Listen to this one right here.
So I really have gotten to the point of broke in which I am gladly selling my blood for money or donating plasma, but I'm still getting paid for it, so.
So some people are so broke that they are donating plasma in order to get paid. Again, that's what they're calling their side hustle. It doesn't matter what it is that you do. Again, selling plasma is legal. This is legal. They're paying you to do something that is going to help other people. That's great. Okay, that is great. Now, I'm not here to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do. I'm not trying to give you any financial advice. Definitely not give you any health advice. Okay? But if that is something that you want to do, go and check it out. Just go, type in where to sell plasma, in Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California, and Miami, Florida, wherever you live. Okay, go Google it, and you'll probably find a donation center somewhere close by. And if that's what you want to do, great, go try it out. But this is the reason I'm bringing this to your attention. Okay, middle class Americans are trying to find every way possible in order to make ends meet. Some are not paying their bills in order to have money so that they can put food on the table. Others are selling things for a loss in order to take some of that money that they're saving on payments. Like, I know people that have sold their car at a loss. And so they're selling their car at a loss. But in the meantime, they're able to pay off their debt a little bit faster. Okay? They're able to reduce some of their expenses. Again, it's interesting. I know people that they're buying a lot of gold and silver when things were sky high. When silver prices were at $110, people were buying massive amounts of silver, and now they're selling it at a loss. And so they're trying to figure out ways to make up for the losses that they're incurring. Selling plasma is one of them. Okay? I want to read something to you. Look at this right here. It says, hold on. Right here it says, I'm making enough money now by doing DoorDash to keep up with the bills. But for anything else in the house, this is going to help out. This is what somebody said. It says about an hour later, the employee came back and collected a container of his straw-colored plasma that would be tested, frozen, and turned into medicines sold for a profit to patients around the world. It says it's a scene repeated by an estimated 200,000 people a day across the country as part of a multi-billion-dollar business fueled by a growing number of Americans willing to trade their blood for money in an economy where many have seen their job prospects weaken, costs rise, and savings dwindle. It says despite data that shows a relatively stable economy, middle-class Americans say they have had to start selling their plasma over the past year to cover basic expenses from medical bills to a winter coat for their child. Again, this is what's happening. I want to show you one last one. Look at this. It says, I'm angry that I'm working this much, that I'm educated, that I'm articulate, that I have marketable skills, and that I'm reduced to selling my plasma. This is from Jill Chamberlain in Phoenix, who has gone from making $87,000 a year to $16.11 an hour after being laid off from her job overseas.
Yep. The proud Edomites have fallen. All right? Just like the scripture says, being mired on the streets. Oh, virgin daughter. All right? Get up from off the dust. All right? So to speak. All right? So these Edomites, the high and mighty, now they've fallen. And they're barely getting up. Let's continue.
In the finances of a local business in 2024. I was ashamed at first, but now I'm angry. This is not how things are supposed to be.
No.
Okay. But again, keep this in mind. People are finding every way possible to just stay afloat. To just stay afloat. Earlier on today, I talked about how we were getting a larger tax refund than we've seen. than we've gotten in the past. And some people say, oh, it's the federal government giving more money to us. No, this is money that you were initially owed, but you didn't take it out with every single paycheck. So this is what the American people are doing. But let me ask you this. Are you going to opt to selling your plasma in order to make ends meet? Let me know.
Well, I'm letting you know now, buddy. The answer is hell to the no. Period. Because simply put, if you are a true servant of the Lord, that elect man and that elect lady of the Lord, and even the children of the Lord, you're not, I repeat, you're not going to participate in this because, like I mentioned earlier during the video, this is something we're not supposed to do. Why? Because in the biblical scriptures, it talks about blood representing life itself. So when you go into these centers to donate your plasma and you're donating your blood, what you're doing is you're draining the life out of you. And you don't know. You subconsciously you do not know this is what you're doing for Esau Edom. Because you got to understand something. These people are vampires when it comes to blood, okay? They really are. And I can tell you firsthand, from personal experience, when I was going through a phase of being hospitalized for a certain period of time, and there would be days when they'll come and take blood from me like 3-4 times a day. Real talk. 3, sometimes 4 times a day. They sticking the needle in my damn arm to extract that blood out of me. Because we have a blood type that they need in order to survive. Period. So this is what you Jakes are participating in. All right? So, with that being said, let's go to the scripts. Okay, let's see. Revelation 18:1. And it reads, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory." This thing is acting up. In verse 2, "And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird." All right? So simply put, this place is falling at an alarming rate. Verse 3, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth were waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Woo! All right? So this is why these things are happening. Because Babylon is fallen, according to the Lord. So the inhabitants of Babylon are becoming so desperate they're going to start to do desperate things. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You heard? So Matthew 24:7, this is a very popular scripture amongst us Achims. It reads, "For nations shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." All right? So we go to the book of Romans 8:35 in the New Living Translation. It reads, "Can anything ever separate us from Hamashiach's love? Does it mean he no longer loves us if we have trouble or calamity or are persecuted or hungry or destitute or in danger or threatened with death?" Okay? And the answer to that question is no, he does. He still loves us. Okay? The elect, the 1/3 to be exact. Because the Lord doesn't love everybody. Period. He does not love everyone. And he does not even love all of his own people right now. Only the 1/3 of the election he loved on this side. Slakia. But when we get to the other side of Jacob's heaven, then he's going to love all of us. Children of Israel. Okay? So you got to get that through your membranes. Okay? When we go to Isaiah 65:13 and read, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed." Woo! So like I said, the true men of the Lord, the true women of the Lord, the election, we're not going to be out there donating our blood and our plasma, okay? Ain't going to do it. Nope. Because like I said, something we're not supposed to do. Now, I'm trying to find something here. Salakia. Here we go. So I did an AI overview about plasma centers in poor black neighborhoods. And as you can see here, it reads, commercial plasma donation centers are disproportionately located in low-income urban neighborhoods with high percentages of black and Hispanic residents. Research indicates these centers target areas with high poverty. And I just mentioned that at the beginning of this lesson. Unemployment and a prevalence of alternative financial services like pawn shops. This industry leverages the economic vulnerability of residents who use plasma donation as a source of cash income, sometimes for essential needs. I told you, Esau know what the hell he's doing. He has these centers in primarily Jake neighborhoods. So that contradicts that guy on the Snyder Report talking about in middle class and suburban areas. Nope, it's mainly in our neighborhoods. All right. And you see here in this imagery, you got the pie chart and the bar graphs about O positive blood, which is most common type among Hispanic and Black population in the United States. Roughly 53% of Hispanic Americans and 47% of African Americans have O type blood. Okay? These groups have higher frequencies of type O compared to white Caucasians, making them critical donors. See, so I just said it. All right? These Edomites need our blood type to keep their race alive. You heard? So let that sink in for you Jakes out there. All right? So that's going to conclude this beautiful lesson for today. And as always, hopefully edification was brought forth. So with that being said, all praises, honor, and the glory shall go to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakak Kodash, Brakathum, Kwam, Yasharal, Rise Israel. And as always, Habaratazah, Lord willing, on to the next video. Shalom.